Hi everyone, welcome back to 123stitch.com. This is a Q-Snap frame. Today I'm going to answer all your questions. How you put them together, how you use the extender pieces, how do you make different sizes, and what do you do with all that excess fabric. We're going to go into all of it. Before we get started though, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on a thing. A short time ago I did a video on Q-Snaps versus the Nurge frame. I compared the two, I showed you how to use them briefly, and advantages and disadvantages of each one. After that video though, some people wanted to know a little bit more about the Q-Snap. So we're going to go in depth today and find out everything there is to find out about them. And there will be links to everything I mentioned today in the description below, so make sure you check that out if you want to see the video or the different Q-Snap pieces. So first of all, let's start with how do you put this together. I'm going to take this one apart so you can see what it looks like when it comes in the package. This is what it looks like in the package. It comes in pieces, 4 pieces. You get the 4 sides and you get the 4 clamps that go with it. So when you get it, you're going to see you've got 4 pieces that look the same. The Q-Snap is made of a hollow, lightweight plastic tubing, very lightweight. Each side has this little elbow on the end and a little 2-sided extender at the top. The extender goes in with a little tongue and groove configuration. To put it together, you just click them in place. There you go, nice and easy. You put your fabric on it, put the clamps over that. I'm going to show you in a little bit how to load the fabric. One thing I wanted to point out first of all is that sometimes when you take it apart, the extender piece ends up in the wrong place. So you end up with pieces that no longer look the same. And when you try to put them together, you just cannot figure it out. So my first tip is to always make sure your pieces look the same. As long as they look the same, it'll be easy to put them together. The frame comes in 5 sizes, I'm sorry. The first one is a 6x6. 8x8 inch, my favorite, the 11x11 inch. And then we have the larger ones, the 11x17, probably the largest one I would hold in hand, and then the 17x17, which you might want to use with a stand, some sort of stand to hold it. When I'm talking about the dimensions, like the 11 inch by 11 inch, that's referring to the outside dimension of the frame. The inside dimension of the frame, the part that you're actually going to be able to stitch on, is about 1.5 inches less. So on the 11x11, it's about 9.5 inches by 9.5 inches. So just something to be aware of if you're trying to find the right frame for your project. Okay, let me show you how to put the fabric in the frame. Here I have an 8x8 inch frame, and the project that I'm working on, I'm just going to lay it right on top of the frame, try to make it straight, and then put the clamps right on top. I like to do opposite ends first. It makes it easier to keep it straight. The clamps themselves have a grooved interior, so it holds the fabric nice and tight. I'm going to put the other 2 on here. And then once they're in place, all you need to do is rotate them to the outside a little bit, and that tightens it up a lot. I love these frames. They're lightweight and they hold your fabric nice and tight. Now, how do you get the clamps off? You just slide them off the top. When you get these right out of the package, these clamps are tight. They do loosen up rather quickly to the extent that they hold your fabric, but they don't fall off. But when you first get them, you may not want to slide. You may be afraid that it's damaging your fabric. So in that case, you turn it upside down. You see I have some excess fabric here. I'm going to pull on it just a tiny bit, and it's going to lift that edge up so that I can pull it off. That's an easy way to get it off. Now, some people complain that their clamps loosen up a lot to the point where they can't use it anymore. I've never had that problem, but here's a couple remedies. A couple of things that I've done that takes care of the excess fabric as well is just fold some extra fabric over the top, then put the clamp down, and now you've got 2 thicknesses of fabric, so it's going to hold it tighter. You can also take a strip of fabric or felt and put that on top of the fabric before you put the clamp on. That'll hold it nice and tight. And then some people have done this, I haven't tried it, is they will put the clamp in the top rack of the dishwasher. They say that the heat tightens it up. Worth a try. But if you still don't like the tension, you think it's too loose, you can buy extra clamps. And just a reminder, everything I mentioned will have links in the description below. So that's how you load it. Now let me show you different ways to handle the excess fabric. Here I have a piece of even weave in an 11 by 11 frame. And I've got a lot of extra fabric on this side that's gonna be in my way. So here's the different ways you can deal with that. First, you can do what I said before, fold the excess fabric on top, put the clamp over it, good to go. Now this is good if you have fabric you're not necessarily using, but if it's stitchable, if it's part that you're stitching on, then I don't know that I would do this because you're really squishing it up in there. So a couple other things you can do. Put the clamp back on, and then they sell these different products. This one is called fabric huggers. I love these. These are just little pieces of plastic that cling together. So what you do is you roll up your excess fabric, and then you put the little fabric hugger on top, and it holds it in place and out of your way. I like that a lot. And then another product they sell is the ClothBitties by It's So Emma. These they come 2 to a package, and they're magnetic, and they've got this long plastic thing here. So what you do is you, again, roll up your fabric, and then they're magnetic. So it just sticks together, holds your fabric out of the way, and it has the added bonus of it's magnetic, so you can use it as a needle holder too. So those are kind of nice. Those are different ways to hold the fabric out of your way. One last thing you can do is they sell Grime Guards. Let me show you what that looks like. This is a Grime Guard. It's basically a thin piece of fabric that has elastic on both sides. It's available in 6 by 6, 8 by 8, 11 by 11, and then I think a 14 by 14 or 11 by 17 size. So that's all it does. It fits on the outside of the frame. But let me show you how you can use this. Now the purpose of the Grime Guard is just like it says, to guard the fabric from grime, to keep your fabric clean. So if you put it on, put the clamps on first. Put our clamps on. Then we put our Grime Guard over the top. It's going to keep our fingers off of the frame and the fabric and keep it cleaner. But what you can also do is tuck your extra fabric up inside of that, and it'll hold it out of the way. You can see I've got a lot of fabric on this side. I'm going to tuck it up in here, and it'll be out of my way. So that's another method to hold it out of the way for you. Let me next show you how to make different sizes of frames. There's something I really like about the Q-Snap frames is because they come in pieces, you can make different size frames. So if the set sizes you have don't work for your project, you can play around with the pieces and make a different size. This project that I'm working on is Thankful Tiny Town by Heart and Hand Needle Art. You can see this is a rectangular design, and my square frames will work, but they're not ideal. So I'm going to make something that's going to work a little bit better for me. So I'm going to take 2 pieces from my 11 by 11, 2 pieces from my 8 by 8, and I'm just going to put the pieces together. So now I have a rectangular 8 by 11 piece. It's going to fit my design much better. I use the existing clamps. And there you go. Much better size. So that's the fun part about these frames. You can play around with different sizes and make whatever works for your project. Let me show you a couple things they sell that will help you do that. First of all, they have a couple of extender kits already. This is a 14-inch extension kit, So it will take your 11 by 11 inch frame and make it into 14 by 14. It has 4 extender pieces and 4 larger clamps. And the same thing on this one, it'll take your 17 by 17 inch frame and make it into 20 inch by 20 inch frame. So that's a nice thing to have. The other thing you can do is they sell these single 3-inch extension pieces. They look like this. They have the peg on one side and hollow on the other side. And you can use these as well to make different size frames. So let's see what size frame we can make from this and exactly how it works. Okay, let me show you how to make different size frames using the 3-inch extension pieces. Remember, the extension piece has the peg on one side and it's hollow on the other side, whereas the extension piece that comes with the original frame has a peg on both sides. You're going to want to remember that when you're taking it apart. So I have my 11 by 11, I have 3-inch extension pieces. I'm going to make a 14 by 14 inch frame. So the first thing I'm going to do is put an extension piece on the end of each of these pieces. I find it easiest to put the extension pieces on everything first, and then it's super easy to just put your 4 sides together like you normally do. And now we've got a 14 by 14 inch frame. Easy, right? Let's take it apart and see what else we can make. Okay, we're going to take this apart and we're going to set our extension pieces aside. If you forget what they look like, remember, it's got the one-sided peg. So we're going to take these all apart. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 sides and 2 extension pieces and make an 11 by 14 inch frame. So I'm going to put these 2 on the end. And then I'm going to take 1 long end, 1 short end, 1 long side, 1 short side. And now I have an 11 by 14 inch frame. So that's how you make different sizes. You can mix and match everything you have. You can buy the extra extension pieces. Have fun with it. Find what works best for you. Remember to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on anything. Links for everything I've mentioned today are in the description below. And please leave comments. We just love to hear from you. I read them all. I answer them all. So please do leave a comment. Let me know if you have any other questions. And we'll see you again next time. Thank you.